Hello, caller. State your name. Where you calling from?
Ron from Brooklyn. Oh wait, my bad. It's SKF, man. Still Knicks fans.
Oh, SKF, man. Listen, all my numbers got deleted, so don't think I'm trying to floss on you and act funny. We got a special guest in the house. How do you feel? You see the topic, right? Where
Yes,
you want
sir.
to go? I do got a question if you don't want to, but this is the
No, no,
call up
no.
show.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. You
Okay, all
ask your
right,
question.
cool.
I'll
So
rock
look,
with you.
so this is the question of the night, right? Did the game, because there's been a lot of talk about our beloved Coach Tibbs, or some people may not like him, but
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of talk about him being on a hot seat, possibly, right?
Right.
Now, they were saying basically if we didn't win against the Pistons, his job is on the line. I asked the question, is this game 3 win, is this win good enough to secure Coach Tibbs' job? That's the question. Whether you like him or not, based off the rumors, was
Uh
this performance, was this win good enough to save his job? Go ahead.
no. I don't think it's good enough to save his job, but I don't think his job is in jeopardy unless they lose the series to Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, I can't. Tibbs is not. Tibbs ain't the guy that is just going to be up and out of here after all the time he's already put into the franchise and organization and where they've come from and where they're at now. So I can't see with all the relationships he's had and built and cultivated in this league, and then him being close with Leon Rose, James Dolan finally respecting what this organization is doing in the front office, cooking the way we've been cooking for the last couple of years. He's got
Facts.
carte blanche. The only thing is, from the player standpoint, if the players look at this situation and say, yo, we couldn't get out the first round, that's different. I think the players have a lot more to
Uh,
do with him getting the axe than the fans, than anybody else. It's the players, because the players get to look at themselves and say, "Yo, we put this team together. We thought we was going to be a championship contender, and we lost to the Detroit Pistons in the first round." That's what I think would happen.
yo, you know what? That's a great point that no one I think else touched on. That usually you see disgruntled stars getting rid of coaches. And look, but you know what, Ron, to add to what you're saying, look at what's going on in Memphis. Look at
Hmm.
what's going on in some of the other places where coaches got fired. Fox in Sacramento, where that coach had a great relationship with the player. And
Hmm.
then the player decided, okay, I want out because the coach got moved. And so there is this special relationship between the coach and the star player. So and you see Brunson loves coach. and
Yes, he
and
does.
and come on. And Leon Rose, Brunson is his guy. So
Hmm.
these guys are listen, Ron, when they find us 200,000, right? I said we deserve it. we deserve it. Come on, man. The agent, the GM is his father's first agent, first client. Come on, dude. We deserve to get fined. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
eat that.
So yeah, it's a deeper connection. But Ron, we have success. Like
Hmm.
Coach Tibbs hasn't technically regressed yet. Of course, we got to see what happens in the playoffs, right? I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, we're not out of the woods yet with the Pistons, right?
Hmm.
So, me personally, I don't see the world where Tibbs is out of here, right? Even if we so happen to lose in the first round, I still think they'll give him one more year to at least show that was a fluke. This is a new team. Let me give me a chance to make the adjustments because I have a lot of high praise for this Knicks team next season, right?
Hmm.
I think we could be definitely the best offense in basketball, but I also think we could be the best team in the East depending on a lot of different circumstances. But coming back with this same group, these guys actually learning each other,
Hmm.
having a summer to work. Because even Brunson said it on the Roommates podcast, we didn't have a summer to work on anything.
Yeah.
Literally the day before media day, the Friday before media day, trade goes down. Now, Coach Tibbs, who had his whole summer to prepare for a training camp with Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson or whoever else they had there at the time, now he has to completely scrap that. And we got a completely different center that we hadn't had in franchise history. We never had a center like Karl Anthony Towns. So you gotta give the guy another shot in terms of just working it out. So okay. So I feel you on that. I feel you on that. So how are you feeling about the Pistons? I see you doing your little your game previews walking now. I see you outside. I'm like, look at taking advantage of, some free time to put up some content. I like it.
Yeah,
How are
well,
you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I mean, honestly, the content, I'm just out there. I said, you know what, for my own well-being, it's good to get some air, get, the weather's, getting better. Why not get my walks on? Hey, if I'm already walking, why not start talking? You know what I mean? So walking and talking
Right.
SKF. So yeah, but
Nice.
as far as the Pistons go, I'm still feeling very confident in what's happening. The bottom line is the Pistons have been a good team all year. They've given every team in the league trouble, and especially the good teams. Like they've always been there. They've beat some good teams too. So you
Yes.
can't take it for granted. Even with them not having Beef Stew, with Isaiah Stewart being out, they still come to play. And so that's the good thing that I'm happy about with this Knicks team is at least the Knicks are coming to play, and especially in this last game, they came to play. They had the energy, they had the heart. So I really liked what I saw. You can't play around with Detroit. Detroit will embarrass you because you already on paper know that you
Facts.
should be better than them, but you can't take them for granted because they could beat you on any given night. So here's the thing
Oh,
that I wanted to say. Just it goes hand in hand with this, and just to piggyback on what I was saying about the players, if we don't get out of this first round, with everything that we've witnessed from the past 4 to 5 years of Tibbs's regime, whatever you want to call it,
right.
the Knicks have consistently evolved, except for that one dud year 2 years ago. That one
Right.
dud year, I kind of look at that as an aberration. The Knicks are just better than
Yeah, don't
that. We
even
just
count it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So,
Yeah, get that out of there.
but outside of that one year, the Knicks have evolved and been better each year. It's been an improvement. You want to look at the last year with Dante and how we made it to the second round would have hurt depleted roster. So if you look at Tibbs and what he's done over this time, he has really not done anything wrong. If you really want to look at it, the team has been progressing. We've just had some bad luck. But so he really hasn't done anything wrong until this year. And that's the reason why I say that if they don't get out the first round, I could see him gone because of the regular season. The regular season, just the overall amount of losses versus good teams is a little bit concerning. It's like you can't overlook it. If we just had series where we didn't win the series, maybe some team beat us 3-1 or we tied 2-2 with other good teams. You could
Right.
just look at that as, any given night, the game plan works, people executed better, whatever. But when you get swept through from all of these teams and it's blowouts, you got to put that in your back of your mind and say, all right, I'm gonna let the season continue and see where we go in the playoffs, but this didn't look good. So I'm saying if they lose to a team in Detroit that's a small team, I mean they decent height, they're good rebounders, but the Knicks actually stack up better and are bigger, a little bit bigger than them,
Bigger, yep.
and we've got way more starting talent than them. And you're telling me we can't get out the first round? Like they should be able to even have a bad game or two, still be able to win this series without
Facts.
really, worrying too much. They should still be able to win. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. If they lose this series, it's more of an indictment on Tibbs and how much the team has regressed from his teachings. I know we got a new squad, and
Mm,
shout out to your caller who brought up the fact, I think it was Keith, maybe it was Keith, that brought up the
yeah.
fact that this is maybe like the seventh game or that they've been together in total
Right.
with the healthy
Eight game,
squad.
yep.
Eighth game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's fair, but the bottom line is the Knicks have an embarrassment of riches in their starting lineup. Compared in comparison to Detroit Pistons, who have Cade Cunningham and a host of guys that you don't even know what you're going to get. Everybody was thinking
Facts.
Malik Beasley was going to kill the Knicks this series. He hasn't
Nope.
really been that much of a factor. We were watching
Yep.
Tim Hardaway light us up for a half and stuff like that. So
Dennis
there's no
Schroeder reliving his old days.
Dude, there's no reason for the Knicks to not get out of this first round versus Detroit. I don't care how tough the games are. The bottom line is when the victory happens, when the bell rings, it should be the Knicks,
Right.
walking out of there with the W.
No, that's a fact. I think most people would agree with what you're saying. Even the most loyal Tibbs guy would say, if you lose the Detroit, because Ron, you know how confident I was. I even had to text you. I said, "Yo, Ron, do you think I'm a little like out of this world or a little over the top?" Because I'm the objective Knicks fan, so I gotta stay grounded. I can't just be, all super one way. And you said no. You the Knicks should win in 5. So I agree. I think that if you lose to the Detroit Pistons, boy, that he deserves to be up out of there. I'm gonna keep it real. Not now. Will he be? I don't know. That's another question. But you can't get past the Pistons. I mean, to be honest, Ron, I can't think of a thing they do better than us. like I'm really trying to sit down and say, yeah, oh wait, no, they don't do that. Maybe you want to say defense. 11th ranked defense, 13th ranked defense. Okay, all right, cool. If you're going to give them that. But I mean, when you really look at it, this is a team you're supposed to be, right? This is a team you're supposed to be. So I don't think that's a debate. But let's say you go up to Boston, right? And you get swept, Ron. Now what happens now? You went 0-4 in the regular season. Now you go 0-4 in the postseason. What happens now?
Nah, if they go to Boston and get to that second round and they get swept, that might be grounds for Tibbs to get fired. Maybe so. But if they go to Boston and Boston beats them 6-2, 4-2 or something like that. And
Right.
even if the 4 wins are blowouts, right? Like, as long as the Knicks put up a fight and win 1 or 2 games, I think he saves his job because he makes it out of the
Okay.
first round. He gets to the second round and unfortunately has to face the defending champions. And we all
Right.
know that Boston is a good team, man. And the thing is, shout out to Craig, who I know a lot of people know him in the Knicks community. He be sending me messages and he was telling me, he was like, listen, if the Knicks are struggling with Detroit, what do you think they're going to do against Boston? And he's like, how much better is Detroit's defense than Boston? And I looked at it and they're not better. Like Boston is
No.
by far better than Detroit's defense. And then having
Facts.
to deal with Boston's offense too, it's a problem.
Yeah. Nah, definitely a problem. But here's the thing, Knicks fans, and I'm saving this for future call-up shows, but Boston, they may not be 100%. Tatum got a severe, what they calling it? Some type of contusion or something in his arm. Joe Mazzulla said it's severe, right?
Oh.
He's playing with a lot of pain. Jaylen Brown's knee. I know they saying the knee's been holding up. He's been looking good, but how long will it hold up?
And
Another
today.
thing too. Right, he took a back. Oh, see, I didn't even watch the game today because I was at my daughter's. She had a dance recital, so I was dealing with that all day, and then I had to hurry up at home and get this show rocked. So I didn't get a chance to watch no basketball. But see, look at that. I didn't even know that. I was gonna watch the playback of the condensed game, but Boston, they may not be 100% health wise, and I'm
That's a
telling
good
you right
point.
now, if Boston is not 100% coming up against these Knicks, and these Knicks is healthy and they feeling themselves after they squashed Detroit in 5 games, hey, look out, y'all. You look out for these Knicks. You just never know. And that's another thing too, Ron. Like I'm trying to tell these people, like the playoffs isn't over yet. Let us lose to Detroit. Let us get crushed by Boston, and then Tibbs, bye. We don't want you. Okay, cool. But we still got a lot of basketball left, Ron. Why can't these Knicks fans wait? Is it just like, we just don't think he's good enough? We don't have confidence. Like, why can't we wait, Ron? Why can't we wait?
I think it's because they know Tibbs' track record, and Tibbs just doesn't
Okay.
have a history of winning in the playoffs. That's all it is.
Okay.
He had,
Copy.
and because he's been a coach for so long and had different opportunities, he hasn't shown that he can consistently do it. That's all it is. I I
Got you.
said I said just like most people, who want the Knicks to be good, you don't know what you're going to get until you give the man the opportunity. This is the best team that he's ever had to coach. Even though we
There
got
you there you go,
we
Ron.
exactly, even though we got a bench that's a little bit suspect, our starting lineup is damn near, when they clicking,
Elite.
the best in basketball. So I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? I love saying that because Knick fans is impatient. They want to see a championship. It's been over 50 years now, and
Right.
this is the
Facts.
best team you've seen. And a lot of young people, especially, this is the best team they've ever seen. So they
Mm-hmm.
want it to happen now. But sometimes you gotta let things. I mean, look, you just brought up the fact that if not for Boston's health, they would have probably, I could think they might sweep Orlando because they was
Oh yeah,
handling them.
easy.
But now, to your point, look, they wound up losing the game. It was close today, but they lost because they are a little banged up. So, and that's
There
great
you
because
go.
now that they're 2-1, the Knicks are 2-1, gives the Knicks a little bit of a breather.
There you go. I said that, and I said that if it continues the way it is, we'll get an extra day's rest if we both close it out in 5. So,
Exactly.
I'm feeling where the Knicks are right now. I'm very optimistic. Win, lose, or draw in this playoffs. I don't think we're gonna lose Detroit. That's not even in my mind. But besides that, I think that we're gonna be very competitive against the Celtics. I'm very optimistic. Win, lose, or draw. I would love to see this team come back next year. Maybe improve the bench. Get another 6'9" dude, something like that. But bring this team back next year. I guarantee you guys, this team is going to do some incredible things because, like we spoke about before, Cleveland and Boston second apron teams, guys, and they got a couple of key free agents that's going to be up out of there. So
Right.
you're going to start to see some more chinks in Boston's armor for sure. But
Hmm.
Cleveland. So especially, could you imagine this, Ron? Cleveland and Boston lose, don't make it to the finals, or they even if they one of them goes to the finals, don't win the championship. Now you're gonna come back with the same exact team again.
Hmm.
What happens? What's their mind state? As second apron teams,
Right.
right? So these are things that, as Knick fans, why I say, listen, give it a year or two because Leon Rose has this master plan. I ain't do this video yet, but I think Leon Rose has a master plan to give the Knicks some more time, right? We're working with what they're working with to kind of outlast the other two teams. Because,
Right.
like I said, those two guys are not going to stay. If they're not winning championships, they cannot sustain those rosters. I'm
Correct.
just telling you guys off the rip, especially Cleveland. They're not going to be able to sustain having all this salary, and you're not getting, even with the great Kenny Atkinson. He won all those games. It means nothing if you don't win the championship. Salute to my man Dorgosaurus Rex in the chat earlier. He said you 0-10 against the elite teams. Well, guess what? You're more than likely probably only going to see one of them.
Mm.
So the fact that you lost to Cleveland or the fact that you lost to OKC is no guarantees they're going to be that far in the playoffs, right? So if you beat one of those teams, no one's going to think about the 0-10. So let's kind of leave the regular season in the regular season and let the playoffs continue to unfold. I mean, there's a lot to be happy about, man. There's a lot to be optimistic for. Win, lose, or draw. Like, if we may not get the championship this year, I don't think it's the end of the world. I really don't. We don't got old knees Patrick Ewing in his late 30s here. It's a younger team that has I feel like they have a 3 to 4 year window, a legit 3 to 4 year window, and especially if Leon Rose does the move that I think he's going to do to kind of extend and give us another year or two to see what we can do. But yeah, man. Yo, Ron, man, I appreciate you calling, man. Anything else you want to share, man? Let the people know what you got going on with Still Knicks fans.
Well, nah, man. Thank you for taking my call. Always a pleasure chopping up with you, my brother. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you spot on. And the other thing is, I just think that what you brought up about the fact that these second apron teams, they may be a little different next year, and the Knicks. even though we're teeter-tottering right there at the apron and we were a little hamstrung this year with some of the moves we could do, they still have flexibility. They still could make a change or two
Right.
next year, to the roster. And, quiet is kept. It's not, the, I feel like Mikal Bridges is playing for his Nick life right now. Because
Oh,
if
facts.
he don't do well in the playoffs, they cutting ties. I believe you. They're not gonna give him an extension and pay him extra money if they didn't get the product that they thought they gave up the 5 picks for. Even though I say we should move on from the 5 picks and people should stop bringing it up as an organization, as a business, if I gave up 5 picks for you and I get to the playoffs and you don't show up the way I need you to, and you've been inconsistent for most of the season, I'm gonna do what I got to do as a businessman. So I'm not caring
No.
about the
Right.
fans. The bottom line is I
No,
gave up a
facts.
lot for you, and if you're not that guy, I'm not gonna keep you here and pay you more money. So
No, big facts. Big facts. And I agree. I actually agree with that. I think that he is playing for his next contract. And honestly, the other alternative could be him signing for the low.
true,
So
true.
yeah, you're not worth the OG Anunoby contract. We're gonna
Mm-mm.
give you another Mikal Bridges like contract, like sort of like what you had, because you're not giving us all NBA defensive team, because OG Anunoby's making the team. So
Yes.
Mikal,
Yep.
you're not making the team. You're scoring, yeah, it's okay, but it's not like where the premier third options are. So if you're not a premier third option, you're not all NBA defensive team. What am I paying you that salary for, that OG Anunoby level salary for? So
Right.
I think it's a couple of things that can happen with the Mikal Bridges, and the whole Nova Boys thing. I think that's out the window, right? And I think even Jalen Brunson's on board with that, because hey, if I got to make a move to make the team better, I think he's going to be all for it. I don't see a world where that disrupts anything else, But I got confidence in Mikal. I think that Mikal can at least possibly give them a discount. Not, I don't want to say a discount, but maybe he won't take as much money. Maybe he'll do a 2 year, 55, 2 year, something like that, where he's not getting in the $40 million range. He's not in the
Right.
$200 million range. So, but you just never know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can go a lot of ways.
And I'm expecting Mikal because he is streaky. That's the problem. He is inconsistent. I'm expecting him to go off at some point in one of these games, whether it be Detroit or if the Knicks get past Detroit and play Boston. I expect Mikal to have a big game or two, just because that's his blueprint. He does play well. He just doesn't do it every night. So
Right. Nah,
yeah, but we'll,
facts.
we'll we'll see what happens, bro. But yeah, man, thank you once again for having me. Yeah, I'm just finished, putting up my thumbnail. Tomorrow's show, 11:30, Know the Ledge. Listen, if you want to continue to talk Knick basketball Saturdays, that's where I'll be.
And Ron, see, that's why I try to segue you out, because I know you have to get up early for the. I'm thinking about your best interest, man. I'm glad you plugged in
Appreciate you,
Know the
my
Ledge,
guy.
because if you didn't plug it, I was gonna plug it, and that's what I was gonna say. All right, I know you got to get some rest, because you definitely got to do that show. That's a great show. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for that show on Still Knicks Fans, man. Sure.